undisclosed location in Texas. We're gonna make some really thin pork chops, pork loins, I don't know, whatever you call them. I've already got one of my sides started. I got some diced potatoes in there. Seasoned them up pretty heavy with salt, pepper, chili powder, garlic powder. Put some avocado oil in the fry pan. But it's working a lot better now that I tightened the screws down so the heating element stays in. I started those. I guess I should have timer, just like I should have set a timer when I'm using the community wash or fine. But those have been going for about a minute. I got a medium heat. I'm going to turn them down a little bit because I really don't want the outsides to burn before the insides are cooked. The potatoes can take a lot of seasoning, so don't be bashful. I guess I better be conscious about making a mess here since it's not my house. So I'll just put a little landing pad there. So, okay, passes the smell test. Pork's still good. So what I got here is just, yeah, it's still good. Some quarter, half-inch thick pork chops here, and then yeah, they're good. But you know, you can just check. They smell all right. They're gonna be fine. So notice it's got this like nice thick layer of fat. Not that it's that thick, but if you, that'll cause the pork to kind of buckle up as it cooks. So what you're going to do is you're just gonna cut through that layer. That's 2 or 3 times there, and then that'll help your pork chops stay flat when they cook. And then if they stay flat, they should cook a lot more evenly. All right. I need a plate, don't I? Hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, it's kind of a pain not being in a kitchen, but this coffee table and this couch from the 70s works great. So let's get these out of here. Alright, so we're gonna go real simple seasoning, and this is kind of my basic seasoning for everything. So we're gonna go salt, and then we're gonna go garlic powder, and then either go black pepper, chili powder, or both. Being that I put chili powder in the potatoes, I'm going to skip it here and just go with the normal black pepper. Actually, I'm going to do a light bit of chili powder here. So these are really thin, so you don't really have to worry about marinating them beforehand or seasoning them way ahead of time. You just don't want to salt it and give it time for the moisture to draw out without being reabsorbed. But the seasoning on the surface, you'll still get plenty of seasoning in every bite, so guess what? It's good. So once again, that's a sprinkling of salt. Garlic powder, I just coat them. I mean, I'm not using flour or any breading, so the seasoning will help give it a little bit of a crust. What's nice. Nobody likes bland stuff. All right, so there we go. Let's check out the potatoes. They still got a few more minutes there. You can kind of tell by how hard they are. Like if a fork goes into them easily, they're done. But I'll turn the heat up and get a crust on them now that I've gotten some heat on them and they've started cooking. There we go. That's a good sizzle. All right. Now, set this aside. You don't want to use a cutting board on the same surface that you cut raw meat on. So I'm going to perform a magic trick. Watch carefully. Oh, look, it's good. There we go. I can kind of start to get ready for making the salad, but it'll literally take like 30 seconds. So I guess this is like in a class or at the end of the day when the boss or the teacher just mumbles and you want them to just shut up so you can go home. That's kind of the situation we're in here. Yeah, potatoes are getting close. Flip them around a little bit. I got two russet Russells, I don't know, potatoes diced up, cooking just fine in some avocado oil. Any that I don't, I'll probably eat about half of these tonight, and the rest I'll use on a breakfast burrito tomorrow, depending on what time I get up, because I do got to run tomorrow in the morning, and it's supposed to be like a speed workout, but it's going to be awful, because it's like 1,000,000 degrees. I don't think the air conditioning is working in this room. But it's most unfortunate. But that's kind of the amount of seasoning I put on these, and that's going to be plenty. I think I'll probably, depending on how hot you have your skillet, your fry pan, your grill, whatever you're using will determine how fast these cooks. But I think minutes each side will be perfect for these pork chops. So, oh yeah. There we go. Okay, now I'm poking them to see if I can get a fork in there, and I got a plastic one, so I gotta be real careful. But the potatoes are still saying no to the penetration, and I want them to say yes. So, gotta let them cook a little bit longer, and hopefully that softens up their resistance. But, yeah. There we go. They're fun to mess with, they're fun to stir around. But, this goes for most things you're cooking. If you want to get a good sear on them, if you want a crust, and you got to let them sit, and then you can't, keep poking. Not much good happens when you keep poking things. All said and done, these potatoes will be in there for about 10 minutes. So I guess we can start making the salad, and then we can worry about additional awkward time later, yeah? So I wash my hands before all this, so don't worry about it, and the workspace. That's very important. There are some sick, deviant individuals that stay in hotels. So wash everything, bleach. That's the answer if you're in a hotel. So just take a handful of lettuce there. You can tear it apart, But we're just going to give it a quick choppy chop. Alright, let's see here. So that should be enough to fill that bowl. Okay, cool. And then everybody always likes seeing a good cucumber. Remember to treat it with care. We're just going to take, trying to find a good measuring stick for this cucumber, but I'll just use my finger. So not a whole ton of a cucumber, maybe a quarter. The cucumber, we're going to give it a crisscross. Could do rings or whatever, but I like the little crunchy bits small. You could also peel it if you're into that type of thing, but personally I like the skin, and allegedly that's where all the nutrients are at, what makes sense, because the middle just tastes like water. You know, they say you can get rid of the water eating this by peeling it, but why would you bother, or de-seeding it, but why would you bother doing that? It's a salad. Let's see now. The potatoes are flippy. Oh yeah. You're seeing the edges start to burn, start to get some good browning on them. That's what we want to see. So move those around a little bit and give them, you know, there we go. Got them just where I want them. We'll give them, I don't know, 2 more minutes. I think I can talk about nonsense for 2 more minutes. Like Sam Adams Oktoberfest coming in the stores in the middle of August. I'm not upset about it. Alright, let's keep going on the salad. So just let me pull out a carrot here. The length to girth ratio on this carrot's off. What's going to make it a little bit hard to chop. I don't want too thin. I want a little bit thicker for what I'm going to do. That's going to take about that much of the carrot. Let's cut that in half. Well, once again, you could peel it using a peeler or the back of your knife or whatever. I'm just going to keep rotating it and keep cutting it down to size. Those flat ones I'm just going to do like that. And I mean, depending on how hardcore you want to be, and if you're trying to pretend you're, you know, a sushi chef or a mandolin or whatever, you can go crazy. Or you can just, you know, accept that your salad's going to have some crunch in it, and that's kind of what you're going for. And good night vision. You know, everybody wants to have good night vision. And don't tell me that's a myth. So I've got those all chopped up, you know, and just cut those into kind of like inch-long pieces. And look at that, all of a sudden my salad has color, and I don't have to use the terrible tomatoes that I had access to. All right, let's give a status check on the potato. Let's see if it lets me penetrate it. Oh yeah, that does. So the potatoes are good to go. Let's pull up a receptacle for them. Try to get as many as I can, and oh yeah, these potatoes look good, don't they? They look like restaurant quality or some greasy diner, if you count that as a restaurant, what I do. So, this is what we got working with, so let's set that off to the side. That'll be good. That's good. Now this is non-stick, you know, and I'm not super worried about burning anything, but I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in there. There was already oil in there from cooking the potatoes. Let's give it a quick swirl. And then, okay, the pork chops are going to go in. Now, as always, when you got a hot pan with oil, lay whatever you're cooking away. Now you should hear it sizzle. If it does not sizzle, it is not hot enough. Now, how I'm going to judge when to flip these is I'm going to watch the color change going up the pork chop. Now these are thin, so when it gets to about 2/3 of the way up, I'm going to flip my pork loin, pork chop, or whatever, and then hopefully by then I got a good crust on the bottom. You know, this is why I really hate non-stick. Personally, I think it makes it harder to get a good crust. But I'm not going to peek, I'm not going to molest them or anything, I'm just going to let them sear and cook and flip them in probably like 2 minutes. And in the meantime, I can finish making my salad. let's see what we got here. We got an onion for lunch, so I'm not going to go crazy on that, but we're just going to get some slices. There we go. That's enough to give it a little bit of a bite. Oh, I don't want the ugly bottom though, so we'll cut that off. Cut that off. Oh, yeah, look, that crumbles nicely. Now, it is possible that if you got your heat turned up, you might burn the bottom side of the pork, but I think I'm fine. And even if you do, you can always just flip it, cook it the other side, and as long as it's not a guest, and you're just feeding yourself, you can pretend it never happened. I'm pretty good at self-delusion. Let's see here. So salad's coming along nicely, there we go. Got a little cheddar blend, Mexican blend of cheese, so Monterey Jack, cheddar, Sodero, queso quesadilla cheeses, whatever that means. Cheese of quesadillas, I guess. I didn't know that was a specific type of cheese. Just a little handful of that. Okay, we're looking good. We're getting close to the time to flip, but we're only about a third of the way up the pork on the color change. Alright. Now, you can use whatever dressing you want. I got some store-bought ranch that I'm going to use. I got another option would be oil and lemon juice, and salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Mixed together into a quick dirty vinaigrette would work great, but I'm just going to use the pre-made ranch. It comes in a nice little bottle. It was a great invention. And then there you go. I got a salad. Pork's coming along nicely. I'm still not so sold on the electric skillet. I'd much prefer a stove or a grill, but the convenience of being able to sit here on a couch and make dinner is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think I had the heat quite high enough, but that's okay. We'll see what they look like when they flip over. And also learning where the hot spots are on this given skillet. Any pan and stove combo you got at home will, unless you got money, you'll find hot spots. You just gotta get used to your equipment, but good cook doesn't blame the equipment, Alright, let's take a peek, see what the bottom looks like of this guy. Oh yeah, nice. Alright, just for show and tell, that's the bottom side. I'm going to put it back in to allow the other side to cook. And then I'll put that one in there. And then on the second side, they don't need to cook as long because they've already been, the temperature of the meat's been cooking or rising or whatever. Alright. It won't take long. Don't worry about the ends not being perfect. They'll be good. But as you can see, the pork's nice and flat. It didn't curl up. And that's because I made little slits and the fat strip along the outside there. So, well, we're getting close. We'll call it another minute or so, and my pork chops will be good. Then I will serve them alongside my salad. This is a garden salad with some ranch, just some fried potatoes, alongside a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. But, you know, it's not even September yet, and I don't want to hear about how the real Oktoberfest is actually in October. They should really pick a better name for it then. Just saying. Definitely want your carrots to have better girth. I mean, when they're this small and this thin, they're a little bit harder to work with. You don't always meet your objective. Let's take a little peek since I'm not super used. Oh yeah. So, here's the bottom side of that pork chop. That looks good to me. So, I'm not going to do any fancy plating. I'm just going to put the pork on the plate. There we go. And this is going to look pretty brown, and you know, I guess I could have put the salad on there or whatever. But I will give it some of those potatoes. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, so I'm just going to put a little dipping sauce in the corner there. But this, you know, hotel pork chops, those look pretty good. And a salad, that'll work. Now, safety first, so make sure you turn off your heating element. Make sure you pull out on time, as always. Nobody wants an accident or a fire or whatever, so I'll just remove that entirely. Make sure not to touch it immediately after. Let it cool down. And then I will, Sweet Baby Ray's, that's my current favorite. If you have a better idea, let me know. And that sometimes I'll put a little hot sauce on the potatoes or just a little lemon wedge over the pork. But for tonight, a little bit of barbecue, diced potatoes, fried up, of course, alongside some pork chops, a salad. I mean, tell me that that's not a good meal. So that's all I got for y'all tonight. So thanks for stopping in and have a good one. Ciao.